Welcome back to my channel, my lovelies. This is the requested Idol X fans special episode. If you did not watch the first two parts, please go watch them first and then come back to enjoy the special episode. Are you ready? Let's start. Taehyung gently leaned over Jungkook's resting figure, the moonlight casting soft shadows on his bare chest. His fingers trailed down the ridges of Jungkook's toned abdomen, slow and reverent, as if worshipping the very man who ruled his heart. "Why are you staring at me like that?" Jungkook murmured with a drowsy smirk, eyes half-lidded as he looked up at his lover. Taehyung smirked as he climbed on top of him, straddling his hips. "Because you're mine, and I still can't believe I get to touch you like this." Jungkook chuckled lowly, voice husky. "You're dangerous when you say things like that, baby." Taehyung leaned down, lips grazing over Jungkook's jaw, whispering, "Then stop me." But Jungkook didn't. Instead, he grabbed Taehyung's waist firmly, grounding him with a heated gaze. "You know I won't. You drive me insane. Every night I crave your touch like a drug." Their mouths collided, hot and messy, tongues sliding in sync as Jungkook's hands explored every inch of Taehyung's soft, eager body. The room filled with the sounds of breathy moans and desperate whispers between kisses. "I missed you all day," Taehyung panted, grinding down teasingly. "I waited like a good boy." "Oh yeah." Jungkook's voice dropped, his fingers gripping harder. "Then let me reward you." He flipped them, Taehyung's back hitting the mattress with a gasp. Jungkook's lips trailed down his neck, biting softly. "You don't know what you do to me, Tae. Every time you look at me with those eyes, I want to ruin you. Make you cry my name until your voice gives out." Taehyung whimpered, arching up to meet him. "Then ruin me, Jungkook. Remind me who I belong to." Their bodies moved like poetry, slow at first, then more frantic, more desperate. Jungkook licked into Taehyung's mouth between thrusts of his tongue and hips, whispering filth and confessions of love with every roll forward. "Say it," he demanded, voice strained as he drove them both to the edge. "Say who owns you." "You, Koo? Only you," Taehyung cried, clinging to him. And in the silence that followed their wild crescendo, Jungkook held Taehyung close. Breathing in his scent, his skin slick with heat and love. "You're not just mine in this room, Tae," Jungkook whispered against his ear. "One day soon, I'll show the world you belong to me." Taehyung smiled against his chest, heart full, body sated, knowing this love, this fire, was worth every hidden second. Despite the world's blindness, Taehyung and Jungkook lived in a soft, hidden paradise. Every stolen moment, every whispered "I love you" behind closed doors, was sacred. They had their own little world. Secret dates dressed in each other's oversized hoodies, Jungkook hiding under a mask and cap while Taehyung wore black-rimmed glasses and a beanie pulled low. Sometimes they even swapped accessories, Jungkook wearing Taehyung's silver hoop earrings, Taehyung proudly flashing Jungkook's leather bracelet like a treasure. Their favorite hideout was a rooftop cafe in a quiet district, where the owner, an old friend of Jungkook's, always gave them the farthest corner. There, they'd sip iced coffee, fingers brushing under the table, knees bumping, giggles hidden behind face masks. "I like this version of us," Taehyung whispered one day, lacing their matching rings together. "Free and stupidly in love." Jungkook leaned in, brushing a kiss just below Taehyung's jaw. "Let them talk. Let them wonder." No one gets to touch this. They collected couple phone cases. Tiny bunnies 1 week, black and white yin-yangs the next. Jungkook wore a braided ring with Tae's name etched inside. Taehyung had Jungkook's birthday engraved in tiny script on his pendant chain. Matching sneakers, matching scents, even matching toothbrushes in Jungkook's apartment. It was domestic. It was wild. It was theirs. But paradise was fragile. One morning, Jungkook walked into practice to find his manager holding a tabloid magazine, jaw tight. The front cover screamed in bold red. Top idol Jungkook spotted with mystery male lover? Fans demand answers after matching accessories go viral. The photos were blurry but real. A side profile of Taehyung entering Jungkook's building at midnight. A glimpse of their bracelets in a reflection. A suspicious angle of them walking out of a music store with heads low, but fingers grazing. Jungkook's blood turned cold. The company's board called an emergency meeting that same day. His main manager, PR team, and even the CEO sat in silence as the air turned heavy with tension. "You're too valuable to risk this kind of scandal," the CEO finally said, tone clipped. "Your tour is worth millions. You're idolized across continents. You cannot afford to be reckless." Jungkook's jaw clenched. "What do you mean by reckless?" "Dating a man," the PR manager said bluntly. "Especially that man." Jungkook stood. "His name is Taehyung, and he's no one to the public," the CEO snapped. "But he'll be the downfall of everything we built for you. We've kept you clean all these years. No girlfriends, no drinking scandals, no controversy. This will burn it all." The tension thickened as the PR head slid a paper across the table. A drafted statement denying the rumors. "You'll post this," she said, "and you'll keep your distance from him." Jungkook looked at the paper, then back at their expectant faces. "You want me to pretend he doesn't exist? If you want to keep your career alive, yes." The silence that followed was deafening. That night, Jungkook didn't go home. He sat in his car for hours outside Taehyung's apartment, staring at the dim window of their shared room. His phone buzzed with texts. "Tae, where are you? Are you okay? Should I wait up? Miss you." Jungkook closed his eyes. He was being asked to choose his world or his heart. But the truth was they were both Taehyung. Jungkook didn't tell Taehyung. He couldn't. How could he break that soft, trusting gaze with words like, "They want me to leave you"? How could he explain that loving him, breathing him, was now a threat to everything he worked for? So instead, he smiled. He came home late that night, arms full of snacks, his favorite hoodie slung over one shoulder. "Pack a bag," he said, voice light. "We're going away for a couple of days." Taehyung blinked in surprise. "Where?" Jungkook leaned down, kissing his cheek. "Somewhere we can be ourselves." They drove for hours, away from the city, away from prying cameras and the suffocating press. Jungkook booked a secluded beach cottage under a false name, a hidden gem with no cell service, no neighbors, no rules. It was paradise again. They ran barefoot along the sand, laughing as the ocean chased their ankles. Taehyung wore nothing but Jungkook's white button-down, the sleeves flapping as he jumped on his back. They roasted marshmallows over a small fire, fed each other chocolate, kissed beneath a moon too full for the sky. "I wish we could freeze this moment," Taehyung whispered, curled into Jungkook's chest on the porch swing, both wrapped in a single blanket. Jungkook swallowed. I wish that too. That night, their lovemaking was slow, reverent. Like worship, Jungkook kissed every part of Taehyung's body like it was the last time, trailing his fingers over skin he'd memorized in the dark. Taehyung moaned his name like a prayer, like a plea, pulling him close again and again. I love you, he breathed, biting Jungkook's lower lip. Even if the world burns, I'll love you in the ashes. And Jungkook, God, he wanted to believe that was enough. But the storm followed them back. By the time they returned to the city, chaos had erupted. Fans were dissecting every photo, every clip, every interview for clues. Hashtags were trending worldwide. Jungkook's name was on fire, and not in the way he wanted. The company demanded a follow-up meeting. This time, it wasn't just a warning. It was a choice. Either you issue a formal apology and deny everything, the CEO said coldly, or we terminate your contract. Jungkook's hands clenched into fists. You're asking me to destroy the love of my life to save a brand? No. The PR head snapped. We're asking you to be smart. You're not just anyone, Jungkook. You're an empire. He left the building shaking. He drove to Taehyung's apartment with no script, no plan, just a heart crumbling in his chest. He found Taehyung waiting by the window, wearing their matching hoodie, sipping tea from their matching mug. And something about the scene, how peaceful, how safe it looked, made his chest ache. Taehyung turned and smiled. You're home. Jungkook stepped forward slowly. His voice cracked. I have to tell you something. The night was still, the city outside silent beneath the weight of stardom's secrecy. Their apartment lights were dimmed to a soft amber glow, casting golden shadows against the pale walls. Taehyung lay curled beside Jungkook on the couch, their bodies tangled like threads in a favorite sweater. Jungkook's arm was draped over Taehyung's waist protectively, yet there was a tension in his touch tonight, something Taehyung felt but couldn't name. Taehyung leaned up on one elbow, brushing his fingers across Jungkook's jaw. You're quiet tonight, he whispered. Tour's over. No schedule tomorrow. Shouldn't you be kissing me breathless by now, superstar? Jungkook's lips curved faintly, but the usual sparkle in his eyes was missing. Instead, there was heaviness. Storm clouds behind those dark pupils. He shifted, letting out a breath as if it hurt to hold it in. I've been thinking, Jungkook murmured, staring at the ceiling, about everything us, the world outside this place. Taehyung tilted his head. Everything okay? Did something happen at the company? Jungkook hesitated. He turned to face Taehyung, pulling him closer. Tae, you know how much I love you, right? His voice was low, hoarse almost, like he was trying not to tremble. I know. Taehyung smiled gently, touching their foreheads together. You show me every single day. Every breath you take next to me proves it. Jungkook's throat bobbed. Even if I couldn't say it out loud, even if the world didn't hear it from me. Taehyung's brows furrowed. What do you mean? But Jungkook just shook his head, eyes glazing with unshed tears. Just remember that no matter what happens, you were my choice. Always my choice. Taehyung's chest ached. Koo, you're scaring me. Jungkook kissed him hard. A kiss that spoke of goodbye laced with devotion. He didn't speak again that night, only held Taehyung closer than ever, hands trembling slightly as if trying to memorize the warmth of his skin. The next day, the sun had barely risen when Taehyung woke up to an empty bed. His heart instantly tightened. Jungkook's manager had texted late the night before, something about a last-minute interview. Taehyung brushed it off at first. These were normal. What wasn't normal was the silence that followed. By noon, Twitter was in chaos. Fans were analyzing every word from a morning show Jungkook appeared on. A clip played on repeat. Jungkook, there've been rumors lately that you've been seen with the same man several times. Matching items, even. Care to clear the air? Jungkook was frozen for a moment on screen. His lips parted, then closed. He swallowed thickly before offering a strained smile. No, I'm not in a relationship. Those are just rumors. But his eyes told a different story, wide, glassy, a flicker of devastation passing through. He dropped his gaze after that line, hands clenching the hem of his shirt under the desk. He looked like he was about to break. Taehyung stood frozen in front of his laptop, fingers shaking, breath stuck in his throat. He hadn't even been warned. He hadn't expected it. And now, all he could see was Jungkook lying to the world, while barely able to keep his tears at bay. Heartbreaking in silence. For a love that had to remain hidden. Flashback. The night before everything shattered, Jungkook sat quietly on the floor beside Taehyung's legs, his head resting against his lover's thigh, arms wrapped lazily around Taehyung's waist like a man desperately holding onto his peace. The dim lights of their hotel room cast golden halos around them. Outside the city glittered, but inside, a storm brewed. "Why are you so quiet today?" Taehyung whispered, fingers raking through Jungkook's hair soothingly. "Did something happen at rehearsal?" Jungkook didn't answer right away. His arms tightened, a tremble running through his hold. His voice, when it came, was low and rough. "What if I had to do something I don't want to do? Something I'll regret every second, but I'm forced to." Taehyung looked down at him, confused. "Jungkook, what are you talking about?" The idol slowly pulled away, looking up at him with glassy eyes. "Would you still understand me, even if I break your heart?" Taehyung smiled softly, cupping Jungkook's cheek. "You won't break my heart, Kook. I trust you. I love you. You'd never hurt me, right?" Jungkook didn't reply. He leaned up, kissing Taehyung deeply, desperately. That night, he held on to Taehyung like it was the last time, whispering apologies he couldn't explain, lips murmuring "I love you" between each breathless kiss, each thrust of their tangled bodies. But the next day, everything came crashing down. It was a live broadcast, the kind millions watched. Jungkook sat under harsh studio lights, pale and tense. His fans noticed the dark circles, the way he fiddled with the silver bracelet that Taehyung gave him. When the host smiled and gently asked about the rumors, "So Jungkook, care to clear up the dating scandal? The internet says you're seeing a guy." Jungkook looked away for a second, his jaw tight. Then the rehearsed words left his mouth like knives slicing his own heart. "There's no truth to it. I'm currently single. The rumors are just rumors." End of flashback. His eyes welled up right there. A single tear escaped as he laughed nervously and said, "Sorry, allergies." Taehyung had been watching from their tiny apartment, the same apartment where he made Jungkook breakfast, where he held him through nightmares. He didn't move for a long time, but when Jungkook came back that night, there was no Taehyung, no soft hums, no warm scent, only silence, and a letter folded neatly on the pillow. "My Jungkook, I saw everything today. I saw the pain behind your eyes, the way your hands trembled. I understood. And because I love you, I'm leaving. You don't deserve to live in fear. You don't deserve to be punished for loving me. Loving means protecting. And today, I'll protect you by stepping away. Don't look for me. Keep being the light the world needs. I'll always be proud of you. Yours, Taehyung. Jungkook clutched the letter, falling to his knees in the middle of the room, sobbing like a broken boy. The weeks passed, then months. Jungkook was no longer the energetic, playful idol who lit up the world. His songs turned mournful, lyrics drenched in love lost and aching goodbyes. Fans noticed his silence, the way his smiles never quite reached his eyes anymore. And Taehyung watched from afar. Every concert, every interview, his heart throbbed with longing. He knew Jungkook still loved him. He saw it in every lyric, every tear. But he stayed away, until the day it all shattered again. Jungkook was performing Only Us, a heartbreaking ballad clearly written for Taehyung. His voice cracked on the final note. He staggered, eyes rolling back, then collapsed. The world screamed. News spread like wildfire. And Taehyung, he didn't think. He ran. He pushed through security at the hospital, breathing hard, eyes wild with fear. When he finally found Jungkook, lying pale and hooked to IVs, oxygen mask covering his mouth, his heart crumbled. Jungkook looked so small, so broken. Jungkook croaked when he saw him, a tear falling down his cheek. You came. Taehyung sat beside him, holding his trembling hand. You scared me to death, Jungkook. I couldn't breathe without you, Jungkook whispered. Not even on stage. Not in my sleep. I tried, I tried to be what the world wanted. But without you, I'm empty. Taehyung leaned in, kissed his forehead gently. You don't have to try anymore. Jungkook blinked. You'll stay. Taehyung nodded, tears streaming down. Always. Their foreheads touched, their hearts beat in sync, and the world could wait. The hospital room was dim, curtains half drawn, letting in only slivers of sunlight. Jungkook lay motionless, dark circles haunting his eyes, his body frail from emotional exhaustion and the stress of relentless schedules. The monitors beside him beeped steadily, but his soul felt numb, until that familiar scent and touch brought life to his chest again. Jungkook? Taehyung whispered, breath trembling as he sat beside the bed, gently cradling Jungkook's pale hand. Jungkook's eyes fluttered open. For a second, he thought he was hallucinating again. But there he was, the man whose absence had broken him, looking at him with pain and love all tangled in one gaze. Jungkook's voice cracked. I saw you collapse. I couldn't stay away anymore. A tear slid down Jungkook's cheek. You shouldn't have come. You left for my sake. And you're dying inside without me. You're not even pretending to be okay anymore. I'm not, Jungkook choked. I can't be. Every lyric I wrote, every stage I stood on, it all meant nothing without you in the crowd. I kept looking for you, even when I told myself I wouldn't. Taehyung climbed onto the bed beside him, pulling him into his arms. Then stop hiding. Don't die in the dark trying to please people who only see you as a product. I'll be your home again, if you let me. They held each other tightly, breath trembling, tears soaking into one another's skin. For days, Taehyung never left the hospital. He helped Jungkook eat, gave him gentle massages when his shoulders ached, and read aloud his old favorite poetry while rubbing his scalp until he could sleep. And Jungkook slowly returned. He began writing again, but this time with a different light, a new hope bleeding through the lyrics. Fans started noticing the slight smile that returned to his face, the way his voice quivered not with pain, but with something warmer, until everything crashed again. On the day Jungkook was preparing his comeback announcement, his phone exploded with notifications. Jungkook spotted on secret date with female idol Winter. Winter speaks. I've always admired Jungkook. He's my ideal type. Blurry photos followed, two silhouettes side by side, her head tilted toward him. It wasn't them. Jungkook was never there. But the editing was cleverly done. The company had released it. They were trying to bury his truth under a fabricated fantasy. Jungkook gripped the edge of the studio table, knuckles white. "This is it," he muttered. "What is?" Taehyung asked, gently approaching him from behind. Jungkook turned, eyes blazing with resolve. "I won't let them erase you from my story again." Concert night, Seoul Dome, 65,000 screaming fans. The lights dimmed. The roar of the audience reached a crescendo as Jungkook stood on the main stage alone, mic trembling in his hand. He wore black, elegant, bold, and behind him, a large screen flickered with memories. Instead of a flashy intro, a soft melody began playing. "I once lost the one thing that made my heart beat, but I promised myself I wouldn't lose him again." Fans went silent. He exhaled, lifting his gaze to the sea of light sticks. "There's someone I've loved in secret, someone who healed me when I broke, who saw me when I was invisible behind fame. And the world told me I couldn't love him, that I had to lie, that I had to pretend." He turned to face the camera. "But I've decided I won't lie anymore." Gasps echoed throughout the venue. "I love you, Kim Taehyung." The lights dimmed again, and when they returned, Taehyung stood at the far end of the stage, stunned, in a sleek fitted suit. Jungkook walked toward him, heart pounding. He took Taehyung's hand. The crowd screamed. Some cried. Some clapped in shock. The internet exploded, and Jungkook slowly dropped to one knee. In front of the world, in front of every lie and every stage they tried to use to hide you. "I choose you, not just in secret anymore. Be mine, forever." Taehyung's tears spilled before he could even speak. He nodded through his sobs, pulling Jungkook up into a tight embrace. The crowd chanted. They kissed, and the cameras didn't look away this time. "You've always been my light, my warmth, my safest place. I'm tired of pretending you don't exist. I'm tired of hiding. Will you marry me?" Taehyung's eyes flooded. His knees buckled. But he rushed forward and threw his arms around Jungkook. The crowd erupted in screams, chaos, love, disbelief, all at once. But the real fire didn't begin until hours later. Their hotel suite door had barely shut when Jungkook had Taehyung pinned against the wall. "Do you even realize what you do to me?" Jungkook growled, his voice raw, lips brushing Taehyung's neck. "You walked out on that stage and my whole world snapped into place." Taehyung moaned as Jungkook lifted him up, gripping his thighs tightly. "You were so hot on that stage, baby. I was dripping before you even sang the last note." "Oh yeah." Jungkook smirked, teeth grazing his ear. "Then you won't mind me making you drip again." He carried him to the bed and dropped him, tugging off his jacket with urgency. Taehyung spread his legs wide, biting his lower lip. "Show me how much you missed me, star boy," Taehyung teased, eyes dark and needy. Jungkook smirked and lowered himself, pulling Taehyung's sweats down. "You want to be worshipped tonight? Or ruined?" "Both," Taehyung whispered. "Start gentle, End filthy. And Jungkook did. He kissed down his chest, tongue flicking over his nipple before sucking it hard. You're so sweet here. Bet your other hole missed me more, didn't it? Taehyung whimpered as Jungkook's fingers slipped between his cheeks, teasing, spreading slickness over his entrance. You kept this pretty little hole tight for me? Huh? No one else touched you. Never. Taehyung gasped. Only you, Kook. I'd die before letting someone else inside me. Jungkook's control snapped. He flipped Taehyung onto his stomach, dragged his hips up, and shoved in slow but deep, biting down on Taehyung's shoulder as the tight heat welcomed him. Tae, you feel like home. Their bodies rocked in rhythm, sweat dripping, moans echoing off the walls. Jungkook pulled out briefly and flipped Taehyung onto his back again. I want to see you, he panted. Want to see those pretty tears when I wreck you. He thrust in again, this time hard, brutal, deep, passionate. Taehyung arched, his body shaking as his orgasm hit, screaming Jungkook's name. Jungkook followed with a loud groan, spilling inside as he kissed him deep, tongues tangled, breathless and desperate. Afterward, they lay entangled, hearts pounding. Jungkook kissed his temple. You're mine now, in front of the world, forever. Taehyung smiled, pressing a soft kiss to his chest. And you're mine, idol or not, you're my love. The end. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed my lovelies. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video and share it. Please come back for more Taekook fan fiction love stories.